So first of all, thank you very much for the kind invitation, and it's really a pleasure for me to be here on behalf of my company, that is Liberty Chemicals. Astrobio is just the trade name of our product. The company who is producing it and selling it all around Europe is called Liberty Chemicals. That is a small medium enterprise located near Malpensa Airport, very close to Milano. And it was founded in 1995 as a company specialized in the supply of chemicals, auxiliaries for textiles, and later on in 2006 also in the design and manufacturing of sustainable solvents blend. This is some of our numbers just to give you an overview of what we do. We have more than 22 million of turnover in 2019. More than 27 years of experience and more than 11,000 tons of product produced and supplied per year. So our vision since 2006 was to help and encourage the transition of company from a polluting chemistry based on the refining of fossil fuels to a green chemistry based on the conscious use and enhancement of renewable natural resources. How we plan to do that? By producing and supplying less toxic solvents for human and environment. To date, we have developed over 30 bio-based solvents blends capable of replacing in many industrial applications, not all industrial applications of course, because it would be impossible. Some of the most widespread and toxic fossil-based molecules such as glycol, methylethylketone, pyrrolidones in general, toluene, xylene, and also some paraffins, just to name a few. We strongly believe in flexibility. It means that we are able to adapt our formulation to specific needs in different environments. Our experience is based on solid knowledge and continuous experimentation, so we work daily on the available raw materials from fermentation, extraction of vegetable oils, modification of natural resources, both synthetic and enzymatic, and in our laboratory we carry out daily. Our work is really application driven. So we try to find always solution to a specific problem. So we carry out daily compatibility studies between solvents and different polymers and resins, or study on new applications for solvents that are already in the market. As you all do know, we are really in a transition phase. An increasing number, as we've seen today, a lot of presentation regarding new molecules, new applications, etc. An increasing number of bio-based or renewable molecules are becoming available, industrially available on the market, but sometimes in specific application, industrial application, they may show some technical limitation, like limited solvency power towards polymer or resins, evaporation rate too high, too low, compatibility problems with other solvents or ingredients or formulations, and we were able to find a solution to this kind of problem with the aid of solvents blend. So our know-how and our technological platform allow us to develop a wide range of products that are able to satisfy a wide spectrum of needs. So this is just to give you an idea on how our products are designed. So all Astrobio products, all Astrobio solvents are mixtures, are blends of different molecules, and are designed to be able to match and replicate the most important physical-chemical properties of the fossil-based solvents they want to replace, that we are able to replace. And what's most important, the behavior in other formulations. For example, in the coating industry, our main market is the coating industry in the most general sense of way you can think of. So paints, coating, adhesive, and etc. inks. So it means that, for example, Astrobio XT, that is our replacement for toluene and xylene, depending on the application we are considering, is able to match, for example, solvency power, surface tension, evaporation rate, flash point of toluene and xylene. But what's most important, it works like toluene and xylene in a very good way, in a very efficient way, in a specific application. Of course, not in every application. Our products, for example, are not suitable for synthesis, are not suitable for... we have found some interesting features also, for example, in the manufacture of membranes, but generally speaking, they have to be used as ingredients in other formulations. So this is the first example. that I would like to present to you is matching viscosity vs concentration curves. Here you can see on the horizontal axis the percentage of solvents added to a given amount of resin, and on the vertical axis you can see the viscosity measure of the solution thus formed. So the red line is the viscosity profile with butyl acetate, while the blue line is the viscosity profile with Astrobio BA, that is our replacement for butyl acetate. And as you can see, they match. The match is almost perfect. Another interesting behavior, it's not always a perfect match, of course, but another interesting behavior, here you can see the same thing, the same graph with another resin, but you can see the behavior of Astrobio XT compared to the behavior of xylene. And it's very interesting to see is that at low concentration of solvent, we have Astrobio XT is able to cap the viscosity in a better way than xylene. This can be so it means that at the same concentration we can give a lower viscosity, so the customers can, for example, use less solvents than it was using with xylene to obtain the same results, for example. And this is another example with our replacement for methoxypropanol, that is Astrobio TL2, and it's more or less the same thing. The second example that is interesting to see is surface tension. In the table you can see the surface tension of methoxypropanol and the surface tension of Astrobio TL2. As you can see, the values are almost the same, but it seems that methoxypropanol is slightly better at wetting surfaces than our replacement. And here you can see the same values for xylene and Astrobio XT. So values are pretty close, but the range is wider, as you can see, 25 versus 23. And here in this case, it seems that our Astrobio XT is better at wetting surfaces, and these properties can be very important in given application. For example, when you're trying to formulate, for example, a paint, you might have a better visual results, for example, when the paint is put on a surface. Then I will show you an example of these properties later. So the third one, that is the last one, is flash point. There's not so much to say, but it's just to underline that our blends are designed in a way that we can be really close to the physicochemical properties of the petrochemical solvents that we are able to replace. Values are very, very, very close to each other. So now that you have understood how our blends are made and how they are designed, I'd like to give you some hints about the technical advantages that the adoption of a bio-based solvent blends can give in certain given application. The first one are the transparent ones, so they are related simply to the nature of the molecules we use in our product, and it's not always true, as we've heard before in our presentation. It's not always true that a bio-based solvent is always less toxic or better for the environment than a petrochemical one. But it's true for all Astrobio products because they are designed like that. So we design our product to be less toxic for humans and the environment. And this can, of course, bring to a reduction of waste treatment costs, DPI costs, transport and storage costs, and etc. Also, a positive impact was found sometimes in the optimizing the use of other, for example, expensive components when we're speaking about formulation of paint, inks, adhesive, and etc. For example, rheology modifier, coalescent, and surfactant. And here you can see an example of that. One of our customers was using to make this paint butyl glycol and xylene, and he was obtaining this orange peel effect once the paint was put on the surface. And he was seeing this as a defect because he was seeing this effect as a problem. And he was able to replace both butyl glycol and xylene with the use of Astrobio XT, gaining also better visual results of the paint. So this is probably due to the different surface tension, to also the other components that are in Astrobio XT and etc. Okay, this was just to give you really an overview of what we do with Bio-Solvents, and right now in the next few slides I would like to share something about the real experience, the real practical experience that we have gained in these 15 years of activities with Bio-Solvents. It would be 10 case history, but the first one, so the most successful one, the best we have to share. So the first one is dealing with formulation of paint strippers. One of many of our customers was using 3 different petrochemical solvents in their formulation of paint strippers, so phosphate butyl acetate, NMP and toluene, and we were able to replace them with the use of Astrobio BA and S respectively and XD, achieving very important targets. The first one, and you will find always this one, because as I told you before, our blends are designed like that. Workers and use it to seek toxicity reduction. Of course, finally, final product MSDS level improved, and of course, remarkably increased bio-based content of the final product of the customers that before that was almost 0. The second one is a very interesting one. It's the replacement of xylene in a formulation, in a paint formulation for artificial leather finishing in the automotive sector. And we were able to replace xylene with the use of Astrobio XT, of course achieving very important targets like workers and end user toxicity reduction, compliance with growing restriction in their market sector, and introduction on their reference market as a green sensitive company. And this is the first case history that that deals with cold cleaning and degreasing of polymerization reactor, cold cleaning and degreasing in general. But we have had this very good experience in replacing NMP for the cleaning of polymerization reactor, mainly for polyesters, unsaturated and saturated polyesters. And we were able to give the customers also a choice, Astrobio AP and Astrobio AP3, that are very good cleaners, and giving the customer the chance to choose which of the product to buy, and of course they choose the cheapest one. So the targets achieved also in this case are sharp improvement of workers' health protection, and also some technical reduction of solvent consumption, because AP and AP3 have a slightly lower evaporation rate than NMP, but are more efficient cleaners. So they were very happy for the change. The second one of the cleaning that deals with cleaning and degreasing, it's another interesting one, because one of our customers was using Ghent for metal surface cleaning, and they were able to replace it with the use of Astrobio SD. So, as you probably know, Ghent is a flammable solvent, while SD is not a flammable solvent. So they were very happy to change to flammable to a non-flammable solvents, because the next one is about the formulation of intumescent paints. So we were able to replace the use of xylene with Astrobio XT in formulation of intumescent paints. Also in this case achieving very important targets for our customers, so as always workers and end users have improvement, compliance to local authorities obligation, and of course as always remarkably increasing bio-based content on the final product. And the next one is about we have several replacements for white spirits and paraffins depending on the application. Generally speaking, this was very interesting because the customers wanted to develop a lubricant also with almost completely bio-based. With the use, it was able to replace white spirit with our Astrobio SR, white spirit, I mean paraffins D60. There are several grades, but in this case it was D60. So of course they were able to get rid of the fossil-based solvents, workers and end users felt improvement, because of course our Astrobio SR is labeled only with the irritant pictogram, while white spirit has a lot of pictograms. So the next one is also interesting. We were able to replace in the formulation of urethane-based coatings butyl acetate with our MIBK series that are a series we created a whole range of MIBK solvents, the application is always the same. So for urethane coatings, but the difference is evaporation rate. Of course, when I'm speaking about evaporation rate, since we are producing blends, I'm speaking always about mean behavior, because none of our products are azeotrophs. So achieving also in this case important targets like reduced solvent usage and due to an increased solvency power, better user results, and etc. This we can skip on that very briefly. We supply many companies that are producing electronic components, cleaner and detergents, and one of the main ingredients for this kind of formulation is benzyl alcohol, and we were able to replace it with our Bio-Well. And this is the last, very interesting one, of course, for the formulation of industrial and professional household cleaners or detergents. We are able to replace very efficiently butyl glycol, and it's a sensitive matter in this industry, or in many industries that are using butyl glycol, because as you might know, since 2022 butyl glycol labeling has been changed and is on ECA decision, and our products are labeled very better than butyl glycol. So it's a product that is really doing its best in this period. The last one is always dealing with paint, coating, lacquers and ink production, and also with related machinery cleaning. We are able to replace methylethylketone with our Astrobio K2, achieving also in this case very cool targets. The first one of all is 20-30% viscosity reduction in formulation that can have the customers to use less solvents to obtain the same viscosity in formulation, and it's a very appreciated property of our product. Here you can see some other commodities that we are able to replace that I have not mentioned yet: acetone, DPM, limonene, tetrahydrofuran, paraffinic solvent already said, and all the series of ketones. So I'm reaching the last slide. So it is worth to mention something about bio-based content of our Astrobio solvents blend. So when technically feasible, all our products are 100% bio-based. That's why we are always in search of new molecules to use in our blends and to make them more sustainable, more renewable, and also more efficient. But in other cases, depending on the application, they are only partially bio-based. So we have Class A to Class C bio-based solvents according to EN 16766. That is the gold standard for bio-based solvents, as we have learned in the first presentation. And to underline another time the concept, we are really truly living in a transition phase. So molecules available from natural sources that can be used as solvents are more or less 30, 40, I don't know the exact number, but they are not so many. And all petrochemical solvents that need to be replaced are more than 300. Therefore, we are truly living in a transition phase from a 100% petroleum-based chemistry to a 100% green chemistry, which is still up to date, not completely achievable. However, I strongly believe, and we strongly believe, that any effort in this direction, every kilo of an Astrobio product that is used really in industry for a given application, or every kilo of, for example, sardines that will be used in the next years, represent a tremendous advancement towards a more sustainable situation and a more circular situation. So finally, to conclude, what's next? We are performing with independent consultant comparative LCA analysis of our solvents and their phosphate counterparts, cradle to gate and cradle to grade in a specific application. And here you can see some preliminary results that are very encouraging, because Astrobio NS is one of our best-selling products because it's able to replace in many applications NFV. And as you can see, the global warming protection for the production cradle to gate of our Astrobio NS is 3.39 kilo CO2 equivalents per kilo of solvent produced, while for NFP it's 6.51, so we are half of NFP. Of course, these are only preliminary results, but are really very encouraging. So, to conclude, we are also involved in the research for producing and designing new blends, and of course, we are always trying to update the existing formulation to increase renewability content of our product. So, this is pretty much what I have to say about the work we do every day with bio-based solvents. So, if you have any questions, I'm here.